Welcome back to What's on the Shelf and to another video game deep dive that nobody asked for, where I sit and talk about my nostalgic comfort games I grew up with. I actually researched and wrote out this whole script years ago, like 2018, and then it just sat here and never came to fruition. So here we go. When summer 1998 rolled around, something special came into me and my brother's lives. The jam-packed Summer 98 demo disc. On that very disc was a demo for a strange-looking game by the name of Tomba. At that time, I was only 2.5, but anyone with older siblings knows that you spend a lot of time watching them play video games, even if you don't have a turn yourself. Once the sequel came out, I was old enough to try it, and it grew to be one of my favorite games of all time. Here's a look at the games that hold a special place in my heart. What's on the shelf today? Tomba and Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return. Tomba, or Ore Tomba, the original Japanese name, was the first game to be released by the studio Whoopee Camp. The studio was established in 1997 by former Konami and Capcom employee Tokuro Fujiwara. Fujiwara was not originally into video games and wasn't even aware that Konami was a game company when he joined through a recruiter who had visited the Osaka Designers College campus. But he went on to become a leader of the gaming industry. During his time with Capcom and Konami, Fujiwara worked as a director, producer, and designer for over 50 games, including classics like Commando, Mega Man, Ghosts and Goblins, and a personal favorite of mine, Resident Evil. The first game Fujiwara worked on under Capcom was an arcade shooter released in 1982, titled Puyan. The game was loosely based around the story of the Three Little Pigs, and 15 years later, he would go on to create another game centered around anthropomorphic pigs, Tomba. Both Tomba games were written by Masahiko Kurokawa, a fellow employee at Capcom that Fujiwara had collaborated with on many titles, including Resident Evil, which was actually the final game that they both worked on together before leaving Capcom. The title character, Tomba, is a young, pink-haired boy who is presumed to be feral and raised in isolation from humans. He's both wild and has a childlike innocence, qualities that Fujiwara found would help players identify with him. In both games, Tomba does not speak, but he demonstrates the ability to understand others and shows no hesitation in interacting with local villagers he comes across throughout the games. The first game begins with a small intro showing Tomba enjoying a dinner of roasted meat before noticing a local villager being harassed by a group of pigs. In an attempt to help, Tomba intervenes, but is eventually knocked out by one of the pigs, and the group takes off with his grandfather's bracelet, leading Tomba to begin his journey to recover it. Along the way, Tomba meets the 100-year-old wise man, and we are given the backstory about the pigs he had originally confronted.
This was once a beautiful, peaceful land, until 7 evil pigs came. They suddenly appeared and used their powers to change this land into an ugly world. For some reason, the evil pigs seem to be collecting gold. I bet your grandpa's bracelet that was stolen by the Tomba pigs was made out of gold, too. The 7 evil pigs are hiding somewhere in this world. If you find them, I'm sure you'll be able to find your bracelet as well. Just remember, be very careful.
These pigs, called coma pigs, collect gold in order to power the magic of the 7 evil pigs, who are the leaders of the coma pigs. In order to retrieve his grandfather's bracelet, Tomba must track down and defeat all 7 of the evil pigs. To find them, players must collect evil pig bags to reveal hidden doors throughout the land that has been cursed by the evil pigs' powers. Along the way, Tomba meets many different people, like the dwarves from the dwarf village and the residents of the Bacchus village, cursed to the form of mice by the evil pigs. As Tomba helps out these people on his journey, he gains new friends, which he will eventually need in order to face the final evil pig. The second Tomba game, Tomba 2, The Evil Swine Return, known as The Wild Adventure in Japan, begins with a cutscene recounting the events leading up to the start of the game. Tomba receives a letter stating that his childhood friend, Tabby, had disappeared. It always confused me how Tomba had a childhood friend from the coal mining town when he was supposed to be some feral child, but I let it slide since I love the games. After reading the letter, he jumps into the ocean in a desperate attempt to find her, and finds himself caught on a fisherman's net in the town of fishermen. It's here that he meets Kainen, a character Tomba meets several times throughout the game to provide help, and to eventually give Tomba access to the final evil pig. Tomba makes his way to the coal mining town where Tabby lives and finds her house empty. And a coal miner explains to Tomba that she has been taken by the evil pigs because of the gold necklace that Tomba had given her. At this point, Tomba needs to take a hint. Maybe try silver next time? Much like the first game, Tomba travels throughout the cursed lands in search of evil pigs, using pig bags to locate the hidden pig doors. After defeating all 5 of the evil pigs, the final evil pig reveals himself.
How amusing! All my compatriots have been captured. You're looking for Tabby, aren't you? I bet you're really worried, and you should be! Be warned, I'm different from those others. Don't work on me! Enter into my dark corner, if you dare! To everyone sleeping deeply on this continent, time stop!
Tomba must travel throughout all of the continents and destroy magic plates that correspond to each evil pig in order to open the final evil pig door and find Tabby.
Oh. What? Where? I was taken by the evil pigs and then... Tomba!
You're all right, Tabby.
You've come to rescue me! Oh, thank you! I wanted to see you so much, Tomba!
Look out! The evil pig space is breaking up.
Baron, you're all right too! Oh, wonderful!
Tomba is a side-scrolling platformer. Tomba is able to move both left and right, in addition to being able to move between the foreground and background. While in other areas, the landscape is represented in an isometric view, giving the appearance of a 3D environment in which the player can move freely through the area. Navigating through each area begins quite easily, and the challenge grows as you progress. Fujiwara stated that as you progress through the game, the way that you control it will also change. So in that way, even people who have never played a game like this will be able to get accustomed to the speed as it's increasing. And boy, does it increase. Fujiwara is notorious for creating games that are challenging for players. When talking about his previous work, Ghosts and Goblins, he explained, if the players that tried the game tended not to get stuck at a certain point, I'd have to hurry back to the company and redo that portion. I couldn't let them get by so easily. There are tricks that you can use to avoid dying, right? Once I figured out what they were, I'd quickly thwart players who attempted to use them. With both Tomba and Tomba 2, there are many areas that are very frustrating and tricky to get down. I'll admit, I rage quit quite a few times in Tomba 2, particularly with the Kujara washing machine minigame and the trolley minigame. Although they are rage-inducing, the feeling when you finally complete those events or get past a tricky jump is amazing. Fujiwara describes the game as having the pure fun of an action game combined with the way the story changes after certain story beats or events. Throughout the game, you're presented with different events to complete, some mandatory to progress the story, and others completely optional. He explained that having players be able to define their own experience of the game was key. If some character in the game asks for help, you have the option of saying, "Sorry, that's none of my business." Or you could say, "Sure, I'll help you." We can leave it up to the player to decide what moves to make. As you progress through the game, Tomba gains different weapons and abilities that aid in fighting off different foes. For the most part, these are the coma pigs. But other enemies Tomba will come across include coca birds, spiders, needle gators, and biting plants, to name a few. Tomba comes equipped with a large inventory to store the items found along his journey. Within this menu, players can also view their events that they have found and completed, as well as the status screen and map. In the second game, this is all found in Tomba's adventure journal, given to him by Zippo, a new companion introduced in the second game who often speaks on Tomba's behalf.
My name is Zippo. This is my friend, Tomba. If we ride this trolley, will we be able to get to the Kajara Ranch? Oh, Charles, you're so smooth. You come out at times like this and pretend to have done it all.
Tomba 2 uses the same gameplay mechanics as the first game, but now allowing for movement within a full three-dimensional world. While most areas maintain a side-scrolling path, other areas allow you to move freely from a top-down view. Additional weapons are added in the second game and provide players with effective tools for each different area of the game. For example, the fire hammer for melting ice, and the ice boomerang for cooling down cappers. Another new element in the second game were the suits and evil pig robes, which are obtained after each successful battle against an evil pig boss. When equipped, robes allow Tomba to use the magic of the evil pig it belonged to. Suits are found throughout the game by completing different events, or by finding them in different treasure chests. They provide Tomba with new abilities to aid in navigating different areas, such as the ability to swim, glide, and even one to help understand the pig language in the circus town. Tomba is a very visually appealing game. The use of vibrant colors in both the characters and landscapes help to bring the world to life. To me, Tomba looks as though he could be the human version of Sonic, but with pink hair. On the use of color, Fujiwara said, depending on the location, attacking evil pigs might change or open up areas that were completely unable to be seen before. To make those feel different, we drew from the essential power that colors possess. It definitely makes a big difference, and the impact is eye-catching. Each area that is cursed by the evil pigs in Tomba and Tomba 2 have very different looks while they are cursed and after the curses are lifted. The Forest of 100 Flowers first appears as a dreary area with muted colors and dead leaves covering the entirety of the ground. Once the curse is lifted, though, we're presented with lush, vibrant colors of greenery and cherry blossom trees that make it hard not to feel at ease. Many other cursed areas also show off a sharp visual contrast after the curse is lifted, and it's cool to be able to see the game transform just as Tomba does. The first game's music was composed by Harumi Fujita, another former Capcom employee that Fujiwara had worked with in the past. She mentioned having difficulties with the creation of the music for the game, as she had to redo it many times in order to fit the vision and imagery the developers were aiming for. Luckily, it paid off. The music in the game effectively reflects the different vibes of each area, and with catchy and memorable tunes that help to build the mood. The second game is where things get a bit strange. The original Japanese soundtrack was composed by Shina Ozawa, someone that I could not find a single thing about after combing the internet. The international soundtrack was composed by Asif Hakik, the man behind many classic PlayStation titles including Crash Nitro Kart, Fantavision, and Sly Cooper. It may be that I'm just too used to the international soundtrack, because that's what I grew up with, but some of the original songs are very strange and jarring. While Hakik's music showcases a wide range in genre and instrumentation to create distinct vibes and character for each area, I find that a good chunk of the original OST lacks the diversity in mood and character of the international version, particularly in the first few locations. One thing that I can give credit to the original is the pig battle music. In the international release, each battle uses the same theme, while in the Japanese version, the theme is the same, but the arrangement is different depending on the pig that you are battling. I thought that was a nice touch. Some of the songs in the original OST are highly questionable though, and give off major Resident Evil DualShock Edition vibes. Maybe they took the whole cursed idea a little too far. The second game in the series also had a new added element that is really love or hate: full voice acting. It honestly does get annoying at points, and thankfully you can turn the voices off, but there are a few gems throughout the game that add some nice, unintentional humor.
The machine room, pride of coal mining town.
What the hell was that? If you find them in here we go, there we go, alright. If you find them in shaky birds, please.
Wait,
The wind that strikes these wings.
No!
With a unique combination of action, adventure, platforming, and RPG elements, Tomba is a quirky and fun game that provides a great challenge. Unfortunately, it wasn't a great seller, and original copies of the game are hard to come by without dropping some big bucks. Tomba 2 would end up being the last game out of Whoopee Camp before the company went defunct. With the current trend of remakes and remastering old games, I can only dream of a comeback for our pink-haired friend. I don't think the digital versions are available in the PlayStation Store anymore, but whether you emulate or dish out for a physical copy, I highly recommend everyone to try it at least once. If you liked listening to me ramble about Tomba, go ahead and leave a like and comment down below your own thoughts on the series. Have you played any of the games? If not, have I perhaps convinced you to try? Which of the two do you prefer? You can also check out me and my brother replaying through the games recently in the 2 playlists in the description. He's playing through the first game for the first time all the way through, and I play through the second game. You can also hit the subscribe button if you'd like to find out what else is on the shelf. See ya!